Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Tracy, and if you're new to the channel, here I talk about welding and things that I weld on the farm and what I've done in the past as a pipeline, distribution pipeline welder and in the power plants. But today's episode, I want to talk about the welding machine. A year ago, I had rebuilt a bearing in the welding machine, the 300 DLX, and I also cleaned the frame and painted it. And I want to show you what's happened after a year. We get a lot of salt on the roads here in Indiana, and it's hard on the frames. So it may be helpful to somebody that wants to clean up the bottom of the frame on your welding machine. Started putting the sheet metal on it, and I decided to slow down. When it sits on the truck here in northern Indiana on the highways, we use salt to melt the ice on the roads. And when the salt gets up on the bed of any vehicle or frame or whatever of an automotive vehicle, it's like fertilizer almost. It just wants to eat everything. So right at the bottom down here, along here, the salt would probably get caked up on there, even though you wash it every week or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a scaler. What do I do with it? Here. I got an air-driven. I have an air-driven scaler. It's got little fingers on the end of it here. You can get these at probably Harbor Freight, or you can get them on Amazon maybe, or you can get them at Granger. You can get them anywhere, but air-driven, and it's a little noisy. Not real bad. What happens, them fingers go back and forth, up and down. And what I'm going to do is go along here and keep scaling that old paint and rust. And then I'll take a wire wheel to it, and then wire wheel it, and then take some lacquer thinner and clean it real good. I could use a paint remover as well, but when I'm done and it's all clean, got the Boss here, Shop Cat, Rust Seal made by Sems. And what it does is it lifts anything that's down inside those pores, and it just stops the rust. And there's another one you could use too, Rust Mort, but I do like the Rust Seal better. It gives it a coating or a primer, and it lifts that rust out, and it stops right there. And then you can put another primer on top of that and a paint. So that's what I'm going to do, is the sides of the frame. The inside's not that bad. It's just the outside because it was exposed. This is just lacquer thinner. Just rub it in there in case there's any oils. I don't have an oiler on my air compressor, so I could blow this down with the air compressor to help dry it, but you don't have to. It's running down the frame, so whatever oil is there, it's just gonna wash it down. That's all you're doing. Try to get the oils out. Let that sit there and dry. It'd be like you'd wipe it with a rag if you were doing a body work with a real lint-free rag. But this is fine. It's the frame. That's how I'm going to do this. This stuff's very expensive, so don't be letting it run around. It looks like soap when it goes on. What this stuff's going to do is, like I said, it'll lift that. You want to rub it in good. It'll lift that rust right up out of those pores, and then it hardens and it turns black. It's like a primer when it's done, but this is supposed to stop it from rusting anymore. And after that's on, it's dry, then I'll just put some oil-based primer on. That's what I'm going to do. I mean, you could put any kind of primer on it, but you don't want to drip it all over the place. Like I said, this stuff's expensive. That 1 quart, you know, that's a tank of gas in your pickup truck. So I don't know how big a tank you got, but let's say it's a 15-gallon tank. But just keep rubbing it in. That way it washes down inside all the pores of the metal. And like I said, eventually it'll turn black. And it'll be dry. So you gotta daub it, whatever it takes. Sometimes just brushing, don't forget it. Use the brush. Just keep going at it like that till you're done. And then whatever's left over, you know, save it. And you just need soap and water to clean your brush and the can. That's it. Probably should rinse it into some Dryall oil absorbent material, and then bag it so you can throw it away in the garbage. Okay, it's been a few minutes, and you can see already it's turning black. And it'll just get hard. There's still stuff here, still wet, but it's turning black. And that's good. It's going to dry. And like I said, I'll leave it there for probably a couple hours, maybe longer, until it's tacky. And then I'll come in here later, and then I'll put that either Rust-oleum primer, and then I'll paint it the enamel black, because that's what it was originally. That's what it starts doing. All that green will just turn black. Well, you might not be able to see, but that primer's dry, and you can do whatever you want painting it. I'm just going to brush it on. This is just enamel. They make also stuff for automotive, like chassis coat, and I think you can get it in black and maybe another color. I'm not sure, but this will help it a lot. I think I painted it. I didn't put the primer on it like 8 years ago, and it lasted quite a while. But yeah, driving in them roads in northern Indiana, I know they get heavily salted on the interstates. So put this on there, and help it from rusting anymore. I just keep doing it all the way down. There it is, the 300 DLX.